All right, so the job hunt. It can be a bit like, well, trying to solve a puzzle when you don't even have all the pieces, especially with all this talk about AI, algorithms, like it's taking over everything.
Yeah,
You're ambitious, you want to make that move, but just hitting easy apply on every job posting you see.
right.
It's not exactly a recipe for success, is it?
Not at all.
And that's what we're diving deep into today. We're talking about getting ahead of the curve, and you've given us some fascinating stuff on this platform, RoleCatcher. So we're going to unpack that, see what it offers, but more importantly, figure out what it means for you, the listener, for your job search strategy. Because there's a whole new world out there, right?
No, it really is.
Yeah.
What we're seeing now is a huge shift. I mean, the job market is changing rapidly, and companies, they're turning to AI more and more, especially to handle just the sheer volume of applications they get.
It's overwhelming for them, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So it's not even about impressing a hiring manager anymore, at least not at first. It's like you got to get past the AI gatekeeper, right?
That's exactly it. It's almost like companies are using AI to kind of scan resumes, looking for specific keywords, skills, anything that matches that job description.
Which makes sense. In a way, I mean, it's faster for them.
Oh, absolutely. It's much more efficient. But yeah, I mean, it definitely makes the process a lot less personal.
And that's where RoleCatcher comes in, right? From what I'm seeing, it's all about helping you navigate this whole AI-driven recruitment world. Not trying to, like, trick the system or anything, but actually understand how to work with it.
Yes. And that is so important because this whole impersonal AI screening thing, it's not going away. If anything, it's just going to become even more common.
Oh, for sure.
So by understanding how it works, what it's looking for, what it prioritizes, you can actually use it to your advantage instead of letting it, be another obstacle in your way.
It's like learning the rules of the game, so to speak.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, okay, how does RoleCatcher actually, like, help you do that, help you adapt? I'm really curious about this whole resume builder thing they've got.
Oh, that's where it gets really cool. So their resume builder, it actually uses AI itself to analyze the job description. And then it helps you really tailor your resume to highlight those important skills, those keywords.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like having a digital assistant, right? One that speaks the AI language so your resume doesn't get lost in translation.
Exactly. Exactly. And you probably heard that before, right? Like tailor your resume, make it specific. But this takes it to another level. Like say, for example, you're applying for this marketing role, right? And it needs SEO experience, but you've only messed around with SEO a little bit, not a major part of your work.
Right.
RoleCatcher, it might actually suggest, hey, here's some relevant online courses, or maybe even point you towards volunteering opportunities where you could really build up that skill, make your resume even stronger.
That's huge. So it's not just about, hoping your existing skills are going to cut it, but being proactive, actually going out there and filling those gaps.
Exactly.
Be
Exactly.
strategic. And okay, another thing that really caught my eye was this whole AI scoring thing. The sources mentioned that RoleCatcher can help you understand how AI might score your application. What's that all about?
Transparency, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it. Most of the time when you submit an application online, it's like this black box. You have absolutely no clue what's happening on the other side.
Yeah, totally.
How are those algorithms even judging you? RoleCatcher, or at least to some extent,
Yeah.
tries to pull back the curtain a bit on that process.
So you can kind of get a sneak peek, see what the judges are looking for before you even go on stage.
Exactly. It helps you understand what the AI is prioritizing so you can present yourself in the very best light, right?
Yeah.
It might even highlight those little areas where your resume, maybe it needs a bit more, I don't know, a bit more polish, or where you might want to beef up certain skills.
Right. It's like getting feedback before you even submit.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the resume, which, let's be honest, that's a big one. But then there's the whole interview stage. And that's where, at least for me, the nerves really start to kick in, And one thing I saw, they were talking about this huge database of interview questions. RoleCatcher has 120,000 interview questions.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that just sounds overwhelming.
Think of it less like memorizing a textbook
Okay.
and more like, getting a glimpse at the types of questions you're going to see. You're not trying to memorize the answers, right?
Right.
The real value is understanding what kinds of questions they ask in different fields, different roles, and what are they really trying to figure out? What are they actually asking you?
So it's more about understanding, the reasoning behind the questions, the purpose.
Exactly. Take a classic one, right? Tell me about a time you failed. They're not really asking about the failure itself, are they?
Not really.
They want to see your self-awareness, how you handle challenges, what you learned.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher can't give you the right answer for you, but it can help you understand what they're looking for when they ask you something like that.
That makes sense, yeah. And they also have, I saw this too, that AI-powered feedback thing for like practicing interview answers. Is that worth checking out, you think?
It's like having a coach, in a way.
Okay.
Like, it's not going to tell you what to say, but it can help you with, how you're coming across.
Okay.
It might pick up on those little nervous habits we all have that we don't even realize we're doing.
Right.
Like, are you talking too fast? Are you mumbling? Things like that.
That's really helpful, especially, interviews these days. So much is on video.
Exactly. It's like getting a sneak peek of how you sound, how you look on camera, all that.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, most of us could use a little help with, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's important to remember, technology, it's a tool. It's not the whole picture.
Mhm,
You don't want to
mhm.
sound like a robot, right? Authenticity, that's still so important.
Being genuine, being yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like RoleCatcher does a lot, right? From building that resume to, like you said, even practicing those interview answers. But what about, the bigger picture? Figuring out your actual career path, that whole journey.
That's where it gets really interesting, right? Because tools like RoleCatcher, they can give you an edge, absolutely. But it's really on you, on the individual.
Mm-hmm.
It's your drive, how much you're willing to learn, how you adapt. That's going to make the difference long term.
Especially with how fast things are changing these days, right?
Oh, absolutely. Remember we were talking earlier about AI changing hiring. Well, that's just going to keep happening, probably even faster than we realize.
For sure.
So it's about building that strong foundation, those transferable skills, the things that every employer wants, no matter what the job is.
So like communication, problem solving, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Those are the superpowers, right?
Yeah.
And the more you work on those, the more adaptable you'll be, more resilient throughout your entire career, no matter what happens, no matter what's coming next.
This has been, a real eye-opener, I gotta say. This whole deep dive, I've learned so much. So for anyone listening who's, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed with the job hunt, just remember, you have the power to figure this out. You can adapt, you can learn, you can build that career you really want. RoleCatcher might be a useful tool to have in your, in your toolkit. But at the end of the day, you're the one in control.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. That's the key takeaway. Embrace it all. Stay curious. Never stop learning.
You got this.